Okay. There it is. There it is. Potentially. Okay. Here it is. Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. It's IJ. What's up? Check out the cool shades. Wanted to give everyone like a little physical takeaway. Knockaround.com. Awesome shades. No, they're not paying me. But they look awesome. No, bro, look at these. These are wicked. Okay, they got some really cool stuff there. I liked the I brought like a pack. I bought like 10 of them because affordable, etc. Anyway, definitely something you probably won't wear on a shidduch date if it's, too colorful. But there's a lot of stuff that looks good, of course. So here is the end. We're at the end, people. Oh my God. I can't believe we made it to, this far. 99 is this episode. I'm like, I just kind of strolled in. We haven't done consistent episodes in a while, specifically myself, because, Avery and I have discussed ending the podcast, and, I've obviously been on more than Avery has, and Avery and I have a great relationship, good friends, brothers, but also, and Avery's just kind of moved on. In other areas, he's moved away, and anytime he can come on, he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to text you and come on. But so that was not the impetus to end the show. We always discuss that we'd only go like we'd only do so many because there's just not that many to do. I just want to wear my shades, by the way. I don't know why. It's just I never Joe Rogan gets to do an episode in shades. Why can't I, right? And by the way, I can't see out of these because my eyes, I got the vision. You guys know I got my glasses and all that. Anyway, there's a little bit of innocuous, pun intended, comments over there. Yeah. So how do we do this? Like, what should be on the agenda? So 99, I want to kind of end off strong, and I might do a 2-part, so we'll let you know. Avery's going to come on, so 99 to end part 1, and then we'll do another one. I think it'll work out good. So, people are asking, hey, IJ. First of all, IJ. The name Isaac J. Held the second. Grandfather had the first name. Got cousins. They also. That's where the namesake comes from. My shidduch dating career has been just like yours, except I'm coming on a show and talking about it. I think you kind of get to that point in life, and where you get to that point where you just think, hey man, like this is just the definition of insanity, or this fork in the road. On one side insanity, and then one side it's like you gotta push farther. You've got to work even harder than you have. And I can tell you that I pretty much have shared everything I could in terms of the shidduch journey. There's so much to it. There's religiosity from Kite. There's dating, shidduchim, matchmakers, shadchanim, mental health, menuchas hanefesh. And I am blessed to have had, such a successful podcast. It was a fun experience, a fun ride. And met a lot of cool people. Had a great time doing it. Every single episode. Have a bunch of other episodes that I wrote. I think that would be one of the questions I think a lot of people have asked, and maybe, if we do 100 part 2, Avery will come on. That's how we could do the end. It would be like 99 part 1, and then we could literally go through like 200 and be like, the end, 199 part 199 part 100 or whatever it is at that point. I wrote an episode later. I'm like, here's what to tell your coworkers when they ask you what Shidduchim is, because I was interviewing, I met somebody and was like, hey, what is Shidduchim? I'm like, hey, I don't think we ever did an episode on that, like how to tell your coworkers what it is. We did an episode like with your coworkers, but not explaining to the coworkers. So that'd be interesting to do. But I guess in another lifetime, that is. Production. So I wrote a list of questions that people, users. I think like I'm at work. I wrote like a list of questions that people wrote, messaged, and then just things that I kind of meditated on my own. We got they wanted to walk through a production. I was like, yeah, Avery was our head writer in the beginning. Then I took over when Avery left at some point. I kind of learned how to write the episodes myself. I think in the beginning, actually, we were probably more like co-writing it, but Avery had, the writing down. He's like naturally gifted writer. I did production, booking, audio, all the audio engineering I did. We had a few audio engineers. We had a bunch of staff come in and come out. Yeah, so it was a good ride. So, I think one reason why we're also ending the podcast is, when we started, it was such a unique niche, and also it was an untouched platform, an unpoisoned platform, podcasting. And we started about a year before COVID, Avery and I, about a little less than a year. I think it was 2020, 2019. Yeah, so we kind of got together in 2019, and then, it was like making Game of Thrones. It was like making an HBO movie, because we were doing takes, and we were cutting the podcast, and we were making edits, and it took us forever to do. I mean, we really had to learn. I mean, this is a craft. This is a craft. This is an art, and there's a science to it with the technology. This is not easy stuff to do, and you got to really learn how to talk, orate, carriate, be articulate. Learn good jargons and words. Hopefully, I've always left you off with my good jargons and words for the day. That would be one thing I hopefully you could learn from me. What was my word this week? My word this week was temarious, reckless. So that's one of the words. So I wrote here. Here's one of my last messages, and I kind of leave it with you guys, but it's really for me, I think, in like 10 years, maybe my kids in 20, I don't know, something like that. So there's like something cryptic and just powerful to say. The audience, in 10 years when I listen to this, and hopefully my brothers and sisters in the sibling singlehood. I think it should be called the singlehood. The sibling singlehood. Wherever you are, whatever, if you're listening at work, you're listening wherever it is. I remember when I was younger, I was watching TV shows, and especially even Entourage, where I was dumbfounded that the response in some of these movies and TV shows and the scenes were written like, oh, you guys are still friends 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, you're still friends. That's crazy. And I remember when I was young, I was in high school, and I was kind of thinking like, that's so weird, man. That's so weird. Why would they write such a thing? Like, it's so fake. TV and movies are fake. But that's not true, because the writers are writing real stuff that happens to them. And I think you could really relate to things that go on and happen on TV. And like in Entourage, the reality is that you don't stay friends for too long with the group of people you're with, right? There's this gentleman that says we can only hold about 150 active relationships. Was it Mencken? Yeah, that guy all over social media. God, I sound like a novice, right? But his name slipped me. And that's one thing I would leave you off with. Hold on to those relationships you have right now. This is the time when you're going through like a birthing process. You're coming out a totally new person, and you're going to be putting people in the back view mirror, when you're kind of getting out of your shidduch journey, getting out of going through your 20s and starting your 30s as an Orthodox Jewish or Orthodox any religion dater. And you're kind of going into a world that could just be overwhelming, and wherever you are right now, you should appreciate the relationships you have, the people you're with. There's a lot of stuff out there on social media you could, listen to, and clips like that. You guys know where to find them. You're intelligent. You're an intelligent audience. You're people who know these things. Yeah, my last two, but I think I have more notes on this. One other thing I wanted to sign off with is that it's like what Joey Diaz said on Joe Rogan actually a few weeks ago. When he got out of jail, he's like, what is there to do? You can't get a job in so many fields because you're registered. And I totally related to that. It's, what do you do when you hit that breaking point, when you're like in religious dating, shidduchim, spiritual dating? You could turn on Netflix, Jewish matchmaking. I didn't watch it yet. I don't know if I am. I totally support it. And it was cool stuff. We'll see what happens. We'll see. You got to watch with a friend that stuff, because people like commenting on that. That's at least for me. So with Joey Diaz is like, you get out of jail, you're supposed to like rehabilitate, go back into society. Where do you go? What do you do? That's how it is after Shidduchim, and you can't get back into the Jewish community. What do you do? What do you do? Where do you go? There's not too many options on the table, and just go to Jewish matchmaking on Google clips and stuff about Orthodox Jewish dating, shidduchim, Jewish matchmaking. People will you get to a point where you've got nothing left. You got no artillery left. You have no plans left. There's nowhere to go. J-Swipe, J-Date, Bumble, Tinder, all these dating apps. Is J-Date, Adopt a Shadchan, Soyut Sinai, etc. It's an exhausting process, and at some point you got to really think about, am I putting it like, what am I going to do now? Am I going to put everything, the onus on the system or other people, or I'm going to kind of like put it on to me? And am I going to try to live my life and just, if something comes along, when something comes along, it'll come. And I'm personally choosing the latter. Or the former? Is it the former or the latter? The latter. It's the latter of what I just said. It's just, and this is my option for now. And you know what? That's the best thing is like, you could always come back. You could always, nothing's set in stone, you know? Nothing is set in stone with this stuff. Nothing. I'm just adjusting some stuff here. Yeah, nothing's set in stone. So, like that's what I wanted to bring up with Joey Diaz. Where do you go? Like you're at it, right? You decided you're finished with the shidduch system, and you didn't get the shidduch. You didn't meet your bashert, etc. Where do you go? You're registered. You're labeled. You're going to Jewish communities with friends, etc. Whatever it may be, and you are just there's this like there's a label on you. There's a brand that, you know, you're single, you're not married, etc. And it's there. I think it's very real, and we all see it. What do we do about it? The books are still being written. This podcast is one of them. And I had a fourth thing here. Everyone needs a cheer place. Everyone needs a cheer place. Yeah, in the beginning of your shidduch career, you're getting cheered on, right? You're young, in your early 20s, even your mid-20s. Oh, and everyone's just impressed. Oh, here, you know, your parents raised a fine person, and you're a fine person, and they're ready to throw all the boys at you, throw all the girls at you. And you need a cheer place. That dies down over time. Everybody, you guys know, it dies down really quickly. So just realize that at like, you're a girl and you're 25, you're a guy and you're 28, you need a place that cheers you on, brother, sister, holy brother and holy sister. Find that cheer place. For me, as you know, I'm a cigar smoker. I'm at the cigar lounge. It's my cheer place. You know, the guy, you know, luckily just people I'm around, they know, they embrace the Isaac Land philosophy. And that's, you got to get a cheer place. And and by the way, there's a difference with cheer place, you know, and I know that you need a place that is going to give you insight and intelligence and maybe constructive criticism, but you should control that. You need to control that and go to a very selected few people. You know, I have probably two people in this area that I, you know, would go to for that. But in terms of the cheer place, you got to find it. And with shidduch daters, we mature out of that. You know, there isn't much left at a certain point. And it's a perplexing thing because you do realize it at some point. You're like, oh man, I don't have anywhere. You know, the yeshiva I was in learning for like 10 years, they're like now telling me to get lost. Or, you know, let's say the girls go to get the Shabbos nails done and they're thinking like, you know, oh, they're not cheering me on like I used to. You know, they're all picking at me because, you know, I'm too picky with the guys and this, that, the other, etc. So definitely find that. Definitely find that. Find that. There you go. There's that conjecture for you. No, it's more than conjecture. It's anecdotal life experience, shidduch podcasting, etc. And I want to embolden you. I want to embolden myself watching this back and anyone else listening to this show, podcast. I think I'm still a little bit indecisive. Like, is it a show? Is it a podcast?
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Yeah, so here's some questions I got also. They're like, hey, we want to know who IJ is. All right, Isaac J. Held. Yeah, grew up in the Bronx, out of town, not Riverdale. And, got a bit of a story. I think everybody does. I think it's, I love to hear these stories. I like to hear about people and things about them. I'm definitely going to recommend some other audio and visual audio and visual experiences people can listen to. AKA, that's fancy, media talk for like podcasts and shows and YouTube channels you can watch. But again, y'all are smart for this. You know where to go. Being mindful. I just wrote like a list of things that I was actually listening to Joe Rogan and Jewel. Was it Jewel? My girl Jewel. Love her. And I wrote like a list of, some mental health and some positivity, etc. Mindfulness, susceptible, whimsical, observer, curious, untethered, contemplating, distance. These are some things to focus on when you're single. These are some things to really help you kind of realize who you are, what you're going to need, and it'll come. It'll come. I mean, for myself, I have been in love. That's the American way of saying it, but I've been in love. I've dated a high number, a lot of girls. Serious relationships, very satisfied with the number I've had. And I'm looking forward to what comes next. I really am. Really am. I even put that in there. Okay. What separates? I got actually a question from somebody. Myself. No, someone actually did ask it, but I already put it forward, and it was, what separates your podcast from the rest? Our podcast, Avery and I's podcast, Nobody Talks Shidduchim, is different from others in a sense that it's really not about us. It really isn't. Like, this was me, Avery, and Chevy, and we had Devora on. And then we, of course, had all these rotating. We had Ahuva recently, who's been a co-host. It's always been us 3 or 4. And it's been about relating to the topic. It's never been about us personally. It's not about us. Certainly we're the vehicles and the mediums to carry out and convey what the dating experience is like out there. And I know that this is just not communicated out to anybody. It's not. It is not communicated, man. It's not communicated anymore. That's the sad part. And people just don't know what's going on. Hoflation, simps, terms you guys could check out for yourselves, but most of you know. And from Kite, I put on here a note about From Kite. It's really tough to stay from. Really tough. I mean, really tough to stay from. I've certainly moderned out, and a lot of guys modern out. Those are just the statistics. You can check out Bashevkin's podcast. They reviewed a study, and that's what the study found. So whether you believe in the study or not, I mean, I think this is 3 different. You got him, and you got the study people, the study people. I sound so primitive. and then you got like me. So it's like three different, religious orientation identifiers or socialites. We're all very different. And I think we kind of could agree on that aspect. Avery was actually talking to a co-host of another big podcast, and we have never talked, any of us. And I wish all the other Jewish podcasters a lot of success. I think it's a small community. I want to adopt, the Joe Rogan philosophy where, we're a small group of people. We should all support each other, and I support him. I'd have to get a list. You'd have to give me a list because I don't really listen to too many of them. I know Sticky Situations is pretty good. Devora's podcast, I think it's Spill the Tea. Labels podcast, Mislabeled. Meaningful. I hadn't listened to Meaningful People, but it's it's really popular, man. We ran our numbers, and our numbers are great, man. Yeah, so our reach was we had about 6,000 active listeners across all the platforms, and we had a high reach, 300,000 total downloads. It was a lot. I mean, it's a high number. So, as Jack Ma said, founder of Alibaba.com, is, don't be perfect, just be first, right? But I think we were perfect. Especially these sunglasses, by the way. Knock around, guys. Yeah. I'm kidding. They're really not sponsoring me. So there you go. I'm trying to think. But some other podcasts I like. I like Fresh and Fit, Jedediah Billa. Like that Joe Rogan. Obviously, I listen to. Not the biggest Joe Rogan follower, but I like the experience he offers. I think that's about it. Oh, I listened to Victory the podcast. That's Entourage. And then I think I had other few, but they went away. So what else? I had wrote off some other things. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Okay, here we are. So here, I entitled this one NTS Major Announcement. So yeah, the podcasting world has certainly changed. When like I was mentioning earlier, when we started it was this just this one outlet that people would do, and it just became so mainstream now. And what that means to me by saying that is that there's a lot more that we can provide. Like a Shidduch show, a Shidduch podcast should provide more, in my mind, if we were to continue. Really full stuff. Like if you watch, if you watch these shows with the graphs and the charts, there's a lot more that should go into it, and just personal life, it's become exhausting and tiring, and it's time. It's just time to move on. So that is, that's kind of, I think, my final thoughts on the podcast world has changed. Also a big factor, and probably the biggest influencer on why not to continue. In the Jewish community, I think we had a lot of guests that we wanted to bring on. None of who came on this show, maybe one or two, but a lot of people who were looking to come on that we were recruiting. I was recruiting. I'm the chief booker here. We were trying to recruit these people, and we would have a conversation about Orthodox Jewish dating, Shidduchim. They would say one thing, and then they kind of finish off oh, but I wouldn't say that if I go on the podcast. And I would be like, what do you mean you wouldn't say that? What would you say? And they're like, well, I would, agree with the notions out there, the preconceived notions, whatever the shot, let's say, like, you have to be Shomer, I just picking out some controversial things, or you should open up the door, whatever it is. And I'm like, well, we don't want someone, I don't think it's an insidious thing, but I don't want someone, we want genuine people, but everyone was genuine just when they're like coming on the show. They're like, it's something I would kind of back off on. They would hop around. So we don't get much of a choice with that. We just don't. We don't, and I get it because people send their kids to yeshiva. I mean, these therapists and these rabbis and the dating coaches and other singles, most importantly, they have to go back into the Jewish community. The Jewish community is very, very, very sensitive. They're very sensitive, and you say something, it's only translated to how they want to hear it. Experience, that's it. Whatever they want to hear is what they're going to hear. And I get that. Look, the Jewish matchmaking on Netflix, I think it's an amazing thing. And I like that there's a lot more Orthodox Jewish content out there on that kind of platform, on that kind of mainstream international platform. But I have conversations with friends of mine who are 50, 55 years old, and they're like, well, I don't like that, and here's why. Okay, totally. Hey, look, we'll agree to disagree, or look, we don't have to stop being friends about it, bro. Vax, no vax, right wing, left wing, politically. We could all be a part of the Kahila, brother. So that's that. Our goals, someone mentioned we should mention. Yeah, our goals were to provide that big brother, big sister advice that singles could not get, that daters would not get while they're in the dating core. That's what I call the shidduch core, the dating core. Yeah, one time I was talking to a non-Jewish friend of mine who was in the Peace Corps, and I was like, I like that. So I took it, and I was like, I'm calling this the Shidduch Corps. Yeah, we were in the Shidduch Corps together. And then I went out to dinner on a date, and I bumped into a girl who was on this show. It was Alex or Blair. Alex or Blair, one of those two. And pretty much I said, like, oh, you know her? I'm like, yeah, we met in the Shidduch Corps. That was where that joke came off. So that's the goal. That was the goal, and the goal always was 100. We always talked about it. We're like, we think 100 will be the number to walk away from. Michael Jordan wearing the 4-5. What's his name? Numb Encore. We're gonna encore Jay-Z. We're doing Jay-Z, right? Like, you got to hang up the jersey at some point. I was thinking about Yehuda ! The famous singer, Cleveland, I think, Ohio. I loved Yehuda growing up. He was phenomenal. He was a phenomenon. And his renditions, his performances, oh, I loved it. Everyone, our whole generation. And he walked away. He walked away at a certain age. At a certain time, and it's a different world, a different time. I think, that's what we did. We paved the way for the next big Jewish podcast to come along, not just us, So here's probably my closing. Now my real closing thoughts. My real closing thoughts here, I'd say, just for the episode, the takeaway for people, like in terms of the dating. I don't think this shidduch stuff is about more marriage preparation. I believe that we are all marriage minded, and we are all very marriage oriented, almost perfectionists in a way. And we get the training, rabbi shiurim, the Torah class, the dating coach preps are out there. We just forgot how to be human along the way. That's the biggest thing. That I want everyone to remember. I don't think it's about more marriage prep. I think we just forgot how to be human along the way. We got to be easy. We got to be easy on each other, you know? It's... A friend of mine was telling me about the Jewish matchmaking that came out on Netflix, and the guy was he had told me, I did not watch it yet. The boy was like, oh, I can't go to Minyan, and that was like my issue. And then he told me that the girl was obsessed with that. Hey, we're human. We're human. How are you treating the other person? I mean, come on. I don't think it's totally it's self-created, but I really do think it's something that is more tied to real inherent trauma from like the Holocaust, the fall of Persia, Iran. I'm telling you, this stuff is directly related, and this is us in Mitzrayim, brother. We're out of Egypt. We got the Torah. We're in the desert. We just talked about this on Passover. We're in the desert for 40 years. Trust me, it had nothing to do with old or young. It was the mindset. It was the mindset that you were able to work and get rid of Mitzrayim, Egypt, the Holocaust, the Spanish Inquisition. Were you able to get rid of it, or did you live every day with it? And if you kept living every single day with it, God was there. You're not going to be able to pull through. Period. And hopefully we have paved a way, paved a path that you can take through our show, our resources, or whatever guests we've brought on. And I wish everyone good luck. I wish everyone good luck in the journey, because that's what it is. It's a journey. So just some, little side notes. Avery and I did talk about it. We may pop up every now and then with like a Hallmark, movie, the Hallmark movie. So meaning maybe something like maybe a little bit of a special. Okay, that is possible. We may never come back on the channel again. That's possible. Everything is being put out there. We just lost Jerry Springer, okay? So Jerry Springer, right? 27 years. Think about that list. 27 years. Oprah, Jerry Springer, Sean Hannity, Dr. Phil, he's got to be up there. Conan was up there. Think about like Rush Limbaugh was up there. Think about that list, right? Of people who can do something for so long. Joe Rogan's up there. These people, it happened to them in their older years for a reason, because you need life experience. That's what it comes down to. You can't, like, it's we started this podcast with Avery and I were in our 20s. Like, we only knew so much. And now we're looking to go back into the world and explore it, learn from it, have conversations, broaden our bench of knowledge, our depth and range of tangible and intangible understandings, commercial information, personal information, emotional information, everything out there. And that's kind of what we're gonna, like, I'm gonna be doing. And I say we because I know Avery and I, we've talked about this so many times. I will be putting all the full episodes on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And also, I will have, some like clips and stuff being made. We'll see if I can put it out. I'm hiring someone to do it. It's not like going to be me, so blame it on them. You could email Avery if you have any issues with it. So yeah, I mean, that was that. I wanted to thank our contributors as well. I did want to do that, so I want to just mention them here. I'm like, where's the bench card, man? Here, last episode. Is this it? Oh man, it's not it. I'm like looking. Okay. All right. So, yep. Wanted to thank everyone here. So, Avigdor Wolf starred as Avery, Chevy Lipschitz, who starred as Rosie, Faggy Strum, who starred as Paige, Rami Meyer, who starred as Rabbi A.Y., Yoni and Chani Lasters, who starred as the Lasters, Ahuva Shandelman as Holy Shid, and Isaac J. Held as IJ. I want to thank our contributors and other producers that we've had on. Of course, the Lasters I mentioned, Miss D, Devora Kahana, Chevy I mentioned, Rachel Vainberg, who's been on the show, Ricky Yarmish, who's been on the show, Belimi Klugman, who's been on the show, Tamar, I think her name was Tamar Krieger, Michal Benkowski has been on the show, Tammy, Michal was on with Tammy, Felix has been on the show, and our friend Shlomo from Nashville, a.k.a. Shlomo Feldman. I think I got everybody, and yeah, you know, what's with the thanks, right? My real thanks, those were like honorable mentions, by the way. My real thanks is to the loyal, dedicated followers. You guys rock. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone messaging us over the years. It's yeah, I can't believe it's over. And you know, all good things have to come to an end, and you got to prepare for that in life. You know, this is great. This is great that people can like look back and, you know, here it is. Here's how life is, and you know, it's amazing. I'm taking off my sunglasses now. I was only wearing them because I think they just look so awesome. It wasn't like I needed them as a little bit of a medium in a way, aka what toxic people would say, like a crutch. It was a crutch. No, it's like I just got these sunglasses and they're freaking awesome. Okay. So, yeah, as I usually end off, happy face, smiley face, silly face. This is potentially the last episode for the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
I really want that personal price
Actually, I have a little video. And, you know, we'll play that. Always dance. Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast, episode 99. The End, part 1.